Can we give them some love? That's the Foundation Singers. And let's take a moment, as we always do, before we get into the message, to look in someone's eyes, to tell them hi, to let them know they matter, that you're glad they're here. Come on, let's stand up, do it. Go give somebody a hug. Tell them hi. Glad you're here. You matter. How are you? Good.
I love orange and blue.
Thank you.
Hey, Red.
How you doing? I'm glad to be here. If we can find our seats. If we can find our seats. All right. All right. Yeah. All right. All right. So make sure you find each other after service to finish what you start. Yeah. Before I get into the message, I just want to say that Tracy is here. Tracy is one of our longtime members and moved to upstate New York, yeah. North Carolina, upstate New York, and now she's in the house visiting us today. We're glad you're here. So glad you're here. We're continuing on this month with our theme of change what you see. We've been talking about change all year long. Change what you see. The principles we're working with today. Principle number 4, we believe that heaven is within us, yes, and that we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. Principle number 6, we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. Principle number 11, which was read earlier today by Saida, we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny. For we understand that the life of all is God. Change what you see. I want to just read a little bit from Richer Living. I love this book. On page 9, which is January the 9th. And it's titled, Today I Feel That I Merge with the Infinite. Job asks us if we can find God by searching. He means that since God is everywhere and since the subtle essence of the infinite is invisible, we do not have to search out the divine spirit, but rather we should recognize it as the center of all life. That which we see is merely a reflection of this invisible presence. The Spirit itself cannot be seen, but it is felt. Just as we do not see the essence of beauty, but we do feel its presence. So we do not see God, but we do feel the divine in everything. The Creator is revealed in its creation. The formless gives rise to the form. We should consciously unite ourselves with the invisible essence which pervades everything. That which our lesson says is eternally unconditioned and undivided. To do this is to find wholeness. So we've said over the last few weeks that at the core of this teaching, we are forever being asked to change our perspective, to shift just a little bit, to change just a little bit so that we can see. So that when we do this change and we open ourselves to see, that we can see then the possibilities. We can see the potential. And it's not just that we are asking you to change your perspective or asking ourselves to change our perspective so that we can see what's possible, but to take the next step then and to choose from the infinite possibilities. To take the next step and to choose. So in our mission statement, we say that we utilize and demonstrate spiritual principles and practices to cultivate powerful individuals. Well, what that means is that we're going to ask you to do some things. Cultivation requires movement. Cultivation requires action. We're going to encourage you to do some things that you've never done. We're going to ask you to consider doing some things differently. And we're going to ask you to consider doing some things again. Cultivating powerful individuals through practice and principle. Why? Because it leads to peace. It leads to peace. It leads to freedom. To create a life where we may experience pure joy in every area of our life. Not just in one area or another area, but in every area of your life. If you choose, that part is up to you. And what we've been saying over the last few weeks is that it's not easy. Sounds easy, but it's not the easiest thing to do. And yet, it's possible. It's possible once we realize our unity with the whole. Once we realize what's really going on. You with me? Once we realize what's really going on. I want to read a little bit from the Science of Mind textbook. I'm reading from page 1. Oh, here we go. I am reading from page 132 in the chapter titled The Nature of Being. Ernest Holmes says, "Real man is an eternal state of complete unity with the whole. His conscious mind is his understanding of God. His subjective mind is his use of the universal creative medium. His body is one with the body of reality. There is but one mind in the universe, and man uses it. Man is an identity in the universe, a center of God consciousness. At first, he or she is ignorant of this and misuses his or her power, consequently bringing on himself or herself misfortune and negation. The spirit of man, which is self-knowingness, is the only part of him or her which has volition or self-choice. All else acts as automatic law. Man's conscious thought, acting through law, may change any condition in his or her experience, provided he can clearly conceive of such conditions being changed. There's no limit to the law. Limitation is not inherent in the law, but is a result of man's inability to embody the truth and constructively use the law. He goes on to say that man is using a power which is infinite as compared with the power of his conscious thought. Great as the subconscious is, its tendency is set in motion by the conscious thought. And in this lies the possibility of and the pathway to freedom. Freedom in bondage, sickness and health, poverty and riches, heaven and hell, good and bad, big and little, happiness and misery, peace and confusion, faith and fear, and all conditions which appear to be opposites are not really a result of the operating of opposing powers, but are the way the one power is used. We are bound because we are first free. And the power which binds us is the only thing in the universe which can free us. Man already has within himself and herself the key to freedom. But we must come to realize this relation, our relation to the whole. This relationship is one of complete unity. Of complete unity. Now, in this teaching and many other teachings, there's a great emphasis on understanding and believing what you cannot see. A great emphasis on the unseen. A great emphasis on the invisible. And so, Joel Goldsmith, in his book, Invisible Supply, he says that supply is spirit, and that it's within you and it's within me. It is never visible, and it will never become visible, and yet it is everywhere. It is infinite. It is right where you are, and it is right where I am. It's infinite, it's invisible. Ernest Holmes says a few things about the invisible as well. He says that all manifestation of life is from an invisible to a visible. And through a silent, effortless process of spiritual realization, we must unify in our own mentalities with pure spirit. To each of us individually, God or spirit is the supreme personality of the universe, the supreme personality of that which we ourselves are. It is only as the relationship of the individual to the deity becomes enlarged that one has a consciousness of power. In treatment, in prayer, there should always be a recognition of the absolute unity of God and man, the oneness, inseparability, indivisibility, changelessness. God as the big circle and man as the little circle. Man is in God and God is in man, just as a drop of water is in the ocean, while the ocean is the drop of water. He goes on to say on page 137, the universe, both visible and invisible, is a spiritual system. Man is a part of this spiritual order, so indivisibly united with it that the entire cosmos is reflected in his mind. Not some of it, but all of it. Evolution is the awakening of the soul to the recognition of its unity with the whole. Material evolution is an effect, not a cause. This reverses the popular belief declaring that evolution is the result of intelligence rather than intelligence being the result of evolution. The aim of evolution is to produce a man, a woman, who, as the point of his or her objective thought, may completely manifest the whole idea of life, may bring unity to the point of particularization, finding nothing in the law to oppose it. He says that evolution is a principle which, though invisible, finds manifestation in every form of life. It is the logical and necessary outcome of universal intelligence of spirit. But evolution is an effect